Welcome to Crosstalk. Crosstalk is hosted by two pastors, Mike Flynn and Luke Richardson. They'll discuss faith-based conversations concerning our city, lives, culture, news, politics. You know, everything you're not supposed to talk about at Thanksgiving. All that, and most importantly, the truth. Their aim is to connect with people in our community through real discussions, real laughs, and the truth. And now, here's Crosstalk.
Crosstalk is back. Hey, I got some sad news for everybody. Hold back your tears. Pastor Luke is gone. Again, he's sick. So pray for him. He decided not to show up and left me here all alone, but I'm not all alone. I have a guest, which is going to be awesome. Before we get started, though, I want to tell you about the Isaiah 117 house. If you know about it, you know about it. I feel like that's like the coolest fundraiser. Like they're like the hip charity in Vincennes. But they came and spoke at our church. They're doing a coffee cup fundraiser where kind of like Heart to Heart did the baby bottles. They're doing it with coffee cups. And what you do is you take a empty coffee cup, you fill it up with change, dollars, hundreds, whatever you want to do, and then bring it back to them. And if you don't know about Isaiah House, I'll give you the basics. When children are removed from their home, and I experienced this in my life, it's super traumatic. You don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, and then they bring you to an office and you sit there and wait for what they're going to do with you. And so instead of doing that, you can go to the Isaiah House, and it's this beautiful house. There'll be volunteers there who will give you anything you need, get you anything you need, clothes, backpack, bags, whatever. They'll feed you, they'll bake cookies. I guess that's the first thing they do is they put cookies in the oven. So, but if you'd like to support that, you can definitely go to their website. Just Google Isaiah 117 House in Vincennes. You'll find it. And grab a coffee cup. You can stop by our church, First Baptist Church, and get one there too. We have plenty of extras. So I got an awesome guest with me today. Philip Thompson. Thomas.
Yes.
I knew that. I was just checking, making sure you're here. So I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. If you didn't know this, there's actually a training center called Anvil Training Center in Vincennes, where they do jiu-jitsu. That's one of them. Filipino martial arts.
Filipino martial arts. We have a couple of guys that work on boxing, MMA, striking, a few amateur fighters that have fights coming up next month.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. And Muay Thai.
Yes.
Okay. What's the most popular there out of all those?
Well, I'm biased. I'm going to say the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because we have a decent kids class and a pretty well-attended adults class. Now, I usually leave right after the adults class, so my bias will show. I have two young children to get in bed, so I don't stick around too much longer.
Are they in the class yet? Or?
Not yet, but they're on the waiting list. Our kids class has grown quite significantly.
It has.
Yes.
Yeah.
My eldest will be old enough next month, so he's on the waiting list, ready to hop in.
That's awesome. And you're an instructor there.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been instructing?
Here I've been teaching
participating overall?
Jiu-Jitsu in general for about 9 years now.
Okay.
I started in New Jersey in 2016. And then when I moved here, I taught on and off while I was in Jersey, helping my coaches there. We spun up a morning class, so I helped introduce a 6 a.m. class in that environment. And then when I moved here, got to know Brian, got to know the other members of the gym. Yeah. And I was a purple belt at the time, and I began helping teach classes to, spread some of the knowledge I do have and be more of the community with the local group.
So as far as like what made you think, hey, I want to do jiu-jitsu?
Oh, that's a fairly crazy story. But actually, I started with Krav Maga.
Did you get into a fight?
No.
I
was bored in New Jersey. My wife was a medical resident, and I had nothing to do. So a friend of mine convinced me to go take Krav Maga classes. So I started with that, and then I found...
And that's a lot of striking, right? Like poke someone's eye out, and
basically, yeah. And then I found that I really enjoyed the groundwork, like I enjoyed the grounding. Yeah. Now, there's more to the story. I actually had a broken back at the time, and we didn't know it.
Oh, man.
So it actually hurt to stand up and fight, but the groundwork took all the...
It was easier on your back? Yeah.
So I got really into the groundwork, and then went and found a actual jiu-jitsu gym, and pretty much stayed with them from that point forward.
Yeah, people don't know, like, okay, so I think jiu-jitsu is the most practical, the best martial arts. And I had a black belt in Krav Maga. Is it Krav Maga?
Krav Maga.
Yeah, what you said. I said jiu-jitsu is the best. He made a comment. He said, yeah, if you're only fighting one person. And I was like, oh, you're right.
He's not wrong.
If you got 3 people, you can tap one out at a time. Just tell them to take turns.
Well, we do have some interesting games we play in class. And
I've played one of those games.
We'll attempt to take on 2 people at a time. And it kind of lets you get more of a perspective of whatever.
Full disclosure, I'm in the classes. I've done jiu-jitsu for a long time, but I kind of stopped. And I was so surprised to know there's one in Vincennes. Like, as we were moving here, we moved here like 4 years ago. I'm like, this is what I've wanted. It's affordable. It's great. The schedule's awesome. Took me about 3 years to actually walk in.
I mean, when I moved into town, I took a couple classes, and then I took a 2.5, 3 year break. I had my first son, so
yeah.
The excuse of
it's a good excuse.
Life changes pretty heavily, and then once my kids got a little older, my wife looked at me and went, "You need to get back to training. It's time to go."
Man, it's so good for you mentally. Exercise in general is good, and people don't understand jiu-jitsu. Man, it tires you out. Like, you're using muscles you didn't know existed, and yeah, you're going for it.
There's a very good mind-muscle connection with it, because if you're just muscling through things, you're going to miss a lot. You're going to have a bad day, to be honest. So if you don't have both engaged, it becomes a different sport. And you'll leave exhausted, but still feeling better than I have.
Yeah. But what people don't understand, too, jiu-jitsu, it's like chess. Like, you got to think ahead a little bit.
Oh, yes.
You're going to use strength and speed, but man, if you got a big, strong guy versus like a skinny, weak guy, but that skinny, weak guy knows jiu-jitsu, even like a year of jiu-jitsu, he's going to win. He's going to, unless he gets punched. Anyone can get punched.
Yeah.
Anyone can take a shot to the chin and go down. But as far as like wrestling and, just knowing the basics can make you contain people.
It can do a lot for you, both, like I said, the mental aspect, as well as the understanding what you can handle and what pressures that lead you to your points of having failure, right?
Yeah.
So even if you, like me, I don't go out after dark if I can help it. So actually getting into a fight, very low probability.
Yeah.
But I know what it's like to have someone bigger than me try to just make my life heck, right? And deal with that every day when I go to the gym. So, and we also have a good bit of like the local Leos come in to help, work on.
Yeah, you guys give a discount for first responders?
Yes, first responders all get I believe it's $30 off a month to their rate. And I teach a morning class every morning at 9 o'clock, and I usually have 2.
Every morning?
Yeah, Monday through Friday, yes.
Oh, okay.
Right now it's technically Tuesday and Thursdays, but I'm actually there every morning.
Okay.
We generally have several first responders in, and occasionally a couple other guys come in.
How important is that for first responders, especially Leos? Like,
I think it's very important.
You're going to get into altercations with people, and jiu-jitsu isn't about like beating someone to death. It's about control.
And in my opinion, when they have to deal with an emergency situation, it is the worst possible situation at that time. So being in the class gives them the opportunity to have that pressure test without the additional outcomes of an actual violent encounter.
Yeah.
So they can work on their skills without having to worry about all the complete negative outcomes that are part of it.
And the confidence to know, hey, I've dealt with this. I know what to do here. And because your heart rate spikes, and
the adrenaline loves the thing.
And if you're law enforcement, you're more likely to get into a physical altercation than a shooting.
Yes.
So like that's more probable. So why not be trained for that?
Yep. And it gives a good practice environment.
And you don't have to hurt somebody.
Exactly.
If I feel like if there's my first response, okay, if someone's standing across from me and they want to fight me, I'm gonna run. Like, I'm out of there.
That's a good first response, honestly.
I'm just going to book it, right?
That's the best first response,
If my family's involved,
different scenario.
Very different. And, Hey, we're going to go to break. We'll come right back. And I want to talk about kids and what jiu-jitsu does for kids. We have a huge kids class at Anvil, and want to send parents, put them on notice. We'll be right back. This is 97.3, 97.7, 1450 AM.
Selling pressure in the grain and oilseed markets. This is Hoosier Ag Today's Tuesday midday farm market update, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct. See their 2026 seed guide online now at seedgeneticsdirect.com. Value, knowledge, performance. It's in their genetics. Seed Genetics Direct. Bullish news absent once again today. Crop ratings last night were near steady, and the crop tour is finding mostly good crops along with some issues in the fields. The markets are all lower though. September corn 380 1/4 down 2 3/4. D's down 3 at 403 1/2. September soybeans 1011 1/4, 9 1/2 lower. Novi 1032 down 9 1/4. Jan beans almost 9 cents down, 2 3/4 off on September wheat, $5 even. Meats lower. October live cattle 230.87 down 30, and October lean hogs 89.40 down 72. I'm Andy Eubank, Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
All right, Crosstalk, we're back. I have Philip Thomas with us from Anvil Training Center.
AOV News Center. I'm Tom Lees reporting. The North Knox School Board heard an update.
Tom Lee's talking. All right, we fixed that? By the way, we got struck by lightning here last week, but we're all good. Nobody was hurt, just a lot of equipment. But Philip works and is as an instructor at Anvil Training Center. Yeah. So if you've ever watched UFC or mixed martial arts, you're going to see a variety of stuff there. Some people good with Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, but you're always going to see jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Like always. You could see judo thrown in there, but jiu-jitsu is like anytime the fight goes to the ground, that's pretty much jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Right?
Jiu-jitsu or catch wrestling, they both have a heavy influence, but since the 90s, jiu-jitsu has had a heavy impact.
So if I'm an adult, I could come train there.
Yes.
You pay like a monthly fee?
Yeah. There's, depending on what you're taking, there's, I believe, $80 a month for a single type of class. So if you're doing the striking or jiu-jitsu, if you're doing both, it's $120.
Okay.
And that's Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday for the evening classes, Monday through Friday for the night class, or morning classes.
You know, I moved here from Orlando, Florida, and when I was in Orlando, I'm like, man, I want to get back into this. And I probably visited 7 or 8 clubs, like everywhere there, and it was $150 a month or more for like 2 classes a week. So this price is awesome. This is a great price point for our city, for self-defense. It's really good. Now, if I get involved in the class, are there like competitions I can get into?
Yeah, there are. There's organizations throughout the country that run competitions. Very common ones around here are Fuji, which is one of the more common ones I see. There's a few others like NAGA, any official IBJJF.
Does Anvil represent a club that brings competitors there, or
we're affiliated under Bruce Shepard down in Evansville.
Yes,
and he has teams that compete a lot. We don't have a whole lot of people competing right now, but once every few months I'll have guys that tell me they're ready to compete, and we'll try to make sure we have a coach or two with them.
Do you go up against your belt?
Yes, you go up against your weight class and your belt.
Your weight and your belt. So, so I'm not going to face a black belt.
Yeah. So
get pretzeled up.
I mean, you could sign up for the black belt division. I wouldn't advise it.
Yeah.
You could sign up for whatever division. It could turn out poorly. So generally, you would sign up for your weight class and your belt division, and so you'd have approximately equal. Now, say for like a beginner or a white belt, you might have a beginner that's been training for a year versus your beginner. 2 months, 6 months. So that'll balance things out.
So if I'm like a middle-aged man having a midlife crisis, I could go get into grappling tournaments?
I mean, I'm that person, and you definitely can. And
it's fun.
There are plenty of people that do. And some guys fall in love with it. Like, I don't do a whole lot of competitions, but I like going and supporting the team. But I've seen guys that in their 40s, 50s decide to do their first tournament and then fall in love with it, and they just
they win.
For everyone
they can win. It's not about age. So, but you also, Anvil will turn out fighters to take amateur fights, correct?
Yes. Right now we have 2 guys working on amateur MMA, but only one has a fight coming in September. We have a couple of guys working on some Muay Thai and boxing fights that in the same promotion will have fights.
Muay Thai is scary.
September 27th up in Terre Haute.
In Terre Haute.
Yes.
Okay, and now how do you get to that point? You just say, anyone could try it, right? Anyone could be like...
To my knowledge, yeah. That's going to be more of a Brian question. That's his lane. But, yeah, if you come in and say you're interested in it, you got to prove you're willing to work through the camp and be ready to represent. But, yeah.
You're not going to just throw anyone up there. You're going to train them, get them ready.
Yeah, you put in the work, and then guys who are available stick around after class to help those guys push a little bit harder, be practice dummies, for lack of better words, make sure they're as ready as they can get them.
Absolutely. When I started this, I was in college. I was playing 2 sports, soccer, basketball. I sat the bench for basketball. I was nothing, practice squad, right? But I was in the best shape of my life. And so I'm training with Ace Combat Sports it was like a jiu-jitsu gym. And the guy's like, hey, you want to do a fight? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Stupidest decision I ever made. I didn't even have health insurance. Ooh. But even the amateur fights, they're all legit. Like, doctors are there. Yes. You do weigh-ins. They check you out. And then... there's refs. It's not just like those backyard street things on YouTube.
No, it's organized. There's actually councils to make sure everything is run correctly, and the state certifies.
I remember they shut the door to the cage when I was inside, and I'm like, what am I doing? And before that, I'm in the back watching, there's prior fights, and this kid gets kneed in the head, knocked out cold, and I'm just like, what am I doing? It was the stupidest decision I ever made, but and then I ended up with a black eye. I go to church the next morning, and like the head deacon of the church, like, hey, what happened to your eye? And I just looked at him. I was like, cage fighting. And he laughed, and I laughed, and he still didn't believe it. But it's, the thing about jiu-jitsu, it's the confidence, the discipline, the humility. Like, you're going to get tapped out.
Yes.
You got to be okay with that.
Yeah, it with kids especially, it gives them a level of confidence that you don't see in your average child. Yeah. But also it gives them a perspective going forward of like what they know about themselves and how to handle themselves. One of the examples I use, there's a young man that I've known since he was 9 years old. Yeah. Met him in New Jersey. He started training at 4. His father started training with him just to, be closer to his son. The father's now a black belt. The young man is only 17 years old. He can't get his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu until he's 18 or 19. So he's only a blue belt. But he walks with a certain confidence. He knows his body. He knows his strengths. And he's been training with adults since he was 4 years old. Wow. So he is confident when he walks into a room, when he trains with adults, when he goes around, deals with other people, he knows how to handle it. And he's also competed since he was young, too. So
there's something about jiu-jitsu that you cannot get in regular sports. Yeah. And I love regular sports, like team sports. I think maybe we do it too much and spend way too much money and think our kids are going to be pros. But jiu-jitsu is like that self-confidence, and man, my kid goes. And actually, Anvil will give you a discount too. If you and your child goes, they'll take some money off, which is great. But Dana White, the UFC president, he made this statement: put your kids in jiu-jitsu, it'll change their lives. Give them a level of confidence, exactly what you said. You're always building, you're always developing, and
from my perspective, that is 100% true. But then you also have that those kids can help the adults that come in change their perspective. So we have several young ladies and young men that are in this gym and in my prior gym that at 15, 16, 17, a new adult come in.
Oh, they're done.
They can't handle them.
They're done.
It allows an adult to come to knowledge of themselves, like, hey, can my ego accept the fact that this 110-pound, 15-year-old just almost choked me unconscious?
Made me tap.
And if you can get past the ego point and say, yes, this is awesome.
It's the humility.
Then you'll go forever. If you can't get past that, then, it'll be a rough ride. But having that realization that this is a superpower that this 15-year-old now can handle their life in a way that I couldn't when I was that age. Yeah. That it allows me as an adult to be, this is awesome, I want this for my kids.
And if there's ever a physical altercation, you got a 16-year-old, knows his body, knows his control, knows how to safely put someone down and hold them there. I mean,
And they've learned a level of problem-solving skills that most people do not.
that's true.
So like, just thinking through an issue at speed is a different skill that most people
Yeah.
don't have until you've
Yep.
tested it a little
The
bit.
mental aspect of
Yes.
jiu-jitsu for kids.
Yes. Excellent.
My son goes, he gets tapped, beat up, and he's like, man, they're bigger than me, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Get better, train harder, and learn to learn from people who are better than you.
Yep.
So I have rarely been in a club, a jiu-jitsu training center, where there's massive egos. If it flares up, it's like the outliner. Like, dude, no one wants that here,
They usually
And
get weeded out.
they have to.
Yeah.
They have to, because I was like 24. I was getting tapped out by like 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Like,
You come to
You know.
that realization pretty quick that if you can't put it
Yeah.
aside, you'll have
but the
it back.
culture of it, even at Anvil, is like, hey, good job. Oh,
Yeah.
you're grappling. People are trying to help you. They're trying to say, oh man, you almost had me. Good arm bar. Like,
It's not losing, it's learning.
It's
And
learning.
as long as you can approach every round, every training session like that, if I tell my students that don't leave planning to know everything you were
Yeah.
taught that day. Pick
Yep.
one item you were taught, leave with that. This is one of the few sports I've been in that you cannot look at as I'm going to immediately be great. This is a marathon. You have to
It is.
add a little bit every day.
Yep.
So maybe we taught a move that was too much for you today. Pick one part of it, take that home, and keep
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it. And then
Yep.
the rest just grow off of that one little instance. And it'll make you, if you struggle for that greatness on day one, it
Yeah.
gets hard. But if you add to it every day, before you look back 6 months
Yep.
ago, you're so much better than you were then.
and how successful will you be if you tackle life like that?
I mean,
Same
it took me till my mid-30s to learn it, but hey,
Yeah.
everybody's got to learn it at some point.
Yeah, man, it is. My son, he wants to be the best. He does immediately. And so jiu-jitsu has been great for him. Not only the physical aspect, the social, like, being okay with that. And yeah, I would say get your kids into jiu-jitsu because it's so different than any other sport. Any
I
team
agree.
sport, it really is. And Anvil's got a great class. How many kids' classes are there? There's beginner and advanced?
Yeah, I believe there's 2 days of kids striking and 2 days of kids jiu-jitsu. The beginner is on Monday, and I believe the Wednesday class is advanced. Heather, who is one of our other brown belts, is an excellent teacher with the kids.
She is great.
She's amazing with the kids.
Yep.
And I tell any parent that wants to bring their kids in.
Heather
to that
does a good
class, let
job.
Heather
Yep.
work with them, and you'll see a change almost immediately just in confidence and their ability to get out there.
I started doing boxing with my kids just because I started off boxing. And so I got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. Well, now they're 7 and 9. But, they're boxing each other and they just want to have fun and swing. And then once my older son got into jiu-jitsu, now he's coming back like, hey, can you show me some things in boxing? And
We have kids striking classes too, where we have one of our MMA fighters. He teaches some of the kids striking classes and helps them with those skills. We have a couple guys that specialize just in boxing that are around for that type of thing, and like the boxing aspect, striking aspect is a great add. Like I said, I am biased, but I had my story we told at the beginning.
yeah.
But yeah, I want my kids to be in the striking classes as well.
Yeah.
I want them to get the whole breadth of it.
Yeah.
And with
Speed, control.
we are expanding the gym the next few months.
Yeah, tell us about that.
We recently purchased the old Regal Furniture Building, and we're expanding into it. I hope to have at least a soft launch. Well, we will have a soft launch by December. Hopefully, more of a hard launch, but we should increase our actual usable mat space by about 5 times.
Yeah, because right now
4 or 5
it's
times.
right by the Best Barber shop across from Thursday Church parking lot.
Yep.
And in 3 months, it's about to get better.
Yeah, we'll be moving over to that
Yes.
spot. So we're going to double or triple our actual mat space. We'll have dedicated
Wow.
bag space. We're hoping to put
Yep.
up, we own, the gym owns a boxing ring that we haven't had the room to put up. So we'll
Yep.
have the room to actually put up the full ring so the boxers can work in that environment.
That's awesome.
We'll have a little bit of weight equipment so the fighters and the members can
Yep.
just keep those up, but we're not looking to actually expand that field.
It's not like a 24-hour
no.
gym.
but we'll have full, significantly more jiu-jitsu space, more striking space and everything
That's
else,
awesome.
including like standalone bathrooms, showers, so people that work in the downtown or whatever, or come in
early or
they can hop, get a shower, so they don't feel like they're stinking up the mats or whatever. Or if they want to train and then have to go to work, come in, hop in, do a class, get a shower, go to work, not have
That's
to worry
going to be
about going back to the
awesome.
house.
So that'll be around December.
My contractors are coming in mid-September, and then I'm actually working with some companies to get the equipment in, and we'll probably still be a work in progress for perfection for a while, but
Good.
we hope to be ready to be in there to start having classes December 1.
And listen, if you're out there and you're like, I'm not sure if this is for me, come in and try a class.
First class is always free.
Yeah, always free. Check it out. You just got to sign the waiver.
Oh, yes. That is,
sign the waiver, you're good. And honestly, if you could be like, nope, not for me, and it's pretty easy-going. There's discipline and structure, but also camaraderie, humility. You got to check it out and get your kids involved. Trust me on this.
Everyone should try it at least once.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should try it at least twice, because sometimes you have a bad day, but
Like
everyone
skiing.
should try it at least once.
You do skiing once, it's like, oh, I just wiped out the whole time. But the second time, it's like, okay. But so Google Anvil Training Center. That's all I'm going to tell you. Google Anvil Training Center. It'll pop up, red and black logo. You'll see it. Hey, we'll be right back. We got to talk about some world events coming up. So 97.3, 97.7, 1450 AM.
From the WAOV News Center, I'm Tom Lee reporting. Anyone not tied into the Knox County Code Red program is encouraged to do so. Code Red is an alert system for weather and other emergencies in Knox County. The system is best known for warnings about various weather emergencies. However, Vincent's Mayor Joe Yoakum knows the system's benefit goes deeper than that. To help people in case of train derailments or other non-weather emergencies, Mayor Yoakum also reminds everyone to use Code Red as another layer of readiness, since there are times you may not hear warning sirens. The Knox County Highway Department will close the bridge on Old Vincennes Road today between the Knox and Davies County lines for bridge inspection. The bridge will be reopened to traffic by the end of the day. Washington police arrested a Washington man for battery and disorderly conduct. 33-year-old Edwin Ibanez Morales being held right now without bond at Davies County Security Center. Also, 20-year-old Travis Whitmer of Lagodi arrested for operating while intoxicated and minor consumption. Whitmer right now is being held without bond. More news is available anytime at WAOVAM.com. I'm Tom Lee reporting for WAOV News.
Throughout the session, selling pressure in the grain and oilseed markets, and they all finished lower. This is Hoosier Ag Today's Tuesday closing farm market report. Looking for bullish news, the trade found none in steady crop ratings yesterday, and overall mostly good findings on the crop tour, although there are some issues in the fields. Corn went 3.5 cents lower on the SEP contract, 379.5. Dees now down to 403 1/4, losing 3 1/4, and 3.5 lower on March, 420 3/4. September beans 1013 down 7 3/4. Novi 1033 3/4, 7.5 lower. September wheat 498.5, 4 1/4 down. Mixed in the meats, October live cattle 231.35, up 17 cents. October lean hogs up 2 cents, 90 15 cents. Deferred's lower. I'm Andy Eubank, Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
Vincennes, Lincoln, and South Knox both lose their volleyball openers. I'm Tom Lee with the WAOV Radio Sports Beat. Vincennes Lincoln volleyball team lost 3-1 to the Linton Miners. Marlo Thorne at 15 kills. South Knox lost at home to Sullivan 3-0. Madison Parish with 25 digs in that one. Reveille girls soccer team beat North Knox in a game you heard on WAOV 5-1. Allie Stearns played goal in the first half and then came out and scored a pair of goals for Reveille in the second half. Lady Patriots scored 4 in the second half to break a 1-1 tie. Lincoln tennis team trims Linton 3-2. Winners Carter Johnson at number 1 singles, and the two doubles teams Dayton Piper and Connor Hahn and William Burgess and Brady Allen get wins. And in girls golf, Sullivan wins a tri-match at the Sullivan Elks. Arrows 213, Vincent's Lincoln 228, and Hervey without enough for a team score. I'm Tom Lee. Here is another community announcement for you from WALV. Oakland City Eagle Riders will have a poker run. That'll be on August the 23rd. It's open to the public, and all motorcycles, cars, and trucks are welcome. It'll be $20 a hand. Best hand to win $100. You can register at 10 a.m. with start that morning at 11. It'll go through Oakland City, Washington, Decker, and Petersburg.
News Talk 1450 appreciates our local farmers and knows when it comes to farming, information is powerful. That's why we deliver news from Hoosier Ag Today as part of your weekday morning. For over 18 years, Hoosier Ag Today has been providing timely, relevant, and credible news for Indiana farmers, produced right here in Indiana. Tune in mornings between 5:30 and 10:30 for news from the most followed ag news network in Indiana, Hoosier Ag Today, right here on News Talk 1450 WAOV.
The WAOV forecast now from the Brian Stevens Erie Insurance Weather Center. Sunny and hot today, a slight chance of rain moving in, a high of 93, slight chance of rain tonight, 30%, a low near 69. Partly sunny and cooler tomorrow, high of 85, 84 on Thursday, and an 86 on Friday. Join us right here for Crosstalk with Mike and Luke every Tuesday at 3 on WAOV.
And we're back. Crosstalk. Man, the biggest thing I can think of right now that everyone's talking about is Russia. But not the Russia hoax, although that is such a big hoax. Doesn't it surprise you? No, Trump's meeting with Russia. And I watched it. I watched the B-52 or the stealth bomber flyover when Putin got there. And, you know, Trump's a master at that. He is a master at the showmanship, and I felt kind of proud to be an American at that point. But the fact that they actually met, that Putin came to America, which says a lot. You may not think it does, but it definitely says a lot. That was incredible, and I'm coming into this with a lot of skepticism. Do I think Putin is going to capitulate? Do I think he's going to be like? Do I think this deal is going to happen? I don't. I really don't. As positive as it is, I just don't think he's going to do that. His end game is to expand back the Russian Empire that the Russian Empire was. His end game is to take all of Ukraine. I feel like if he would have just been good with the Donbass region and Crimea, then he would have stopped a long time ago. Like, why keep fighting? Because he wants more. So watching the negotiation, I do get excited, I do get hopeful, but Putin is just not going to lay down. But I do want to say this. I appreciate Trump and the actual efforts that we see right now. Like, not just the Alaska meeting. That was great. But then right after, where all the European leaders come together, and they're all sitting down, and Trump is meeting with Zelensky again. By the way, how different did this meeting go? Oh, do you remember the last meeting when, oh my goodness, J.D. Vance just all of a sudden was like, tell us thank you. And Zelensky's like, I thank you. It's like, it just did not go well. And I think Zelensky had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, but now I just thought it went so much better. Say what you want, to get all those leaders in a room, for that to happen right after the Alaska meeting, for Trump to get up in the middle of it, and I don't know if you saw this, he got up in the middle and said, hey, hold on a second. He actually called Putin. And what I think was Trump was trying to get a deal right then and there so he can come back and be like, we got a deal, but I doubt that would happen. But the biggest thing right now is for Zelensky and Putin to meet. And that is open. That is very open right now. And then the last step would be a trilateral meeting, which is Trump, Zelensky, and Putin all together. So for those of you who don't know, I lived in Ukraine. I lived in Ukraine for 9 months. I love those people. I love the Ukrainian people. I love the Russian people. Like, it's some of the best people in the world I ever met were Russians who lived in Ukraine and Ukrainians in Ukraine. And all this stuff that's going on, it gives me some hope. But I will say, while Zelensky and Trump were meeting that same night, Russia sent 270 drones and 10 missiles to Ukraine. So the talks aren't ceasing the fire because thankfully Ukraine downed 230 of the drones and 6 of the missiles, but the rest got through and, hit some factories, hit some infrastructure, energy infrastructure. So I just really hope this war ends. One of the European leaders said, hey, well, let's get back together in a month. And Trump was like, a month? No, let's do this tomorrow. Let's do this week. And he had made the comment, if we wait a month, that'll be 40,000 more people dead. So, I get it. I get the urgency of this because people are dying, and I just hate seeing that. Do I think this is going to happen? I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a pessimist. I just don't see Putin capitulating at all. But what Zelensky has said is what they're going to have to do, Zelensky in Ukraine, they're going to have to give up the Donbass region and Crimea. They're not going to get that back. But the biggest thing that Ukraine demands and needs, and I fully agree with this, is some kind of security guarantee. So what does that mean? Well, Ukraine can't join NATO because that's like what started this to begin with. But one of the leaders suggested having like a NATO type of coalition of armed forces from different countries, Germany maybe, just different countries staying in Ukraine to guarantee, that would be a security guarantee because, man, if I'm Zelensky, and this is what Zelensky is saying, what's stopping Russia from doing this in 4 years? What's stopping Putin from doing this when a new president gets in who may not be as tough? It's kind of what already happened with Obama, then Biden. So, and, the Ukrainian people, they need some kind of guarantee because Putin could think this. All right, well, Trump's going to be hard on us. He's going to sanction us, which already has been. He's not playing around. So let's just step back and we'll capitulate. We'll stop the war. We'll sign it. And then 5 years later, a full-on invasion after they learned, after they've, there has to be guarantees for Ukraine. There has to be. And I don't know if Putin's going to accept any of those guarantees. I don't know if Putin will accept like other troops, national troops in the Ukrainian borders, but what other choice do they have? So I'm just really skeptical, but I do appreciate Trump pulling this together, just like the leader said, getting farther down the road than anybody else. And Trump doesn't have to do this. He can just walk away. He really doesn't. He wants to stop this war. And what drives me nuts is I read both left and right news media outlets, and the left, you would just think like he's doing something terrible by this. Like, let me read you a tweet. This is from Nancy Pelosi, which, by the way, the first time in my life I went to her Twitter, and I feel so sorry for doing that. But Nancy Pelosi writes this, about the meetings, about what everyone's seeing unfolding in front of their face, all the goodness, all the movement towards peace. Here's what she had to say on Twitter. We prayed for peace, but instead we got praise for Putin, for the unjustified courtesies extended to him by Trump in Alaska yesterday. What do you mean unjust? He's trying to negotiate a deal, a peace deal. What are you doing, Pelosi? And then she wrote, the thug should immediately return to the tens and thousands of children he kidnapped from Ukraine and stop women as a weapon of war. Like, what? Then she goes on to talk about Putin comparing him to Epstein and how they're both really good friends with Trump. And then she writes, release the Epstein files. Okay. Where were you the past 4 years with the Epstein files? You had them. You were in control. Biden was in control. Why now? Like, this is crazy. Can we at least come together and say we really want this war to end? What other alternative is there? Just keep sending billions of dollars until Ukraine runs out of people? Like, what other action is there? We have to have peace. So, man, that just gets me mad. Like, what did she do? She wrote a tweet. So, and it's the same thing. I went on MSNBC and saw the same thing. By the way, MSNBC is now going to be, they're getting a new name. It's MS Now. My source, news, opinions, and the world. They're failing. They're dying. And it's for this reason. Like, this is a good negotiation. These are good talks. We're excited about these talks. No, it's terrible because Trump derangement syndrome. No matter what Trump does, it's got to be terrible. Like, if you would just acknowledge reality like I would, like anyone should, then I would actually respect and listen to what you have to say. Do I think this is going to work? No. Do I think it's a good thing? It's somebody trying. It's someone planning. And by the way, the last thing, with Trump, of course, couldn't resist. As him and Zelensky are talking about the war and the elections, and, you know, Zelensky said we can't have elections during the war, which I think you could, but then Trump goes, so 3.5 years from now, if we happen to be in a war, we wouldn't have to have an elections? Like, he's asking Zelensky. And then he's like, oh, okay, that's good. Like, of course, people lose their mind. Like, you know, I think he's doing it to troll. But I don't like when he does stuff like that. Oh, man. And then Zelensky said, oh, you like this idea? Man. I just hope this ends and we can pray for the Ukrainian people. And I hope people can see the positive in this. Was it perfect? No. Did I love every minute of it? No, not at all. But I really hope this war stops. Hey, we'll be right back with The Truth, 97.3, 97.7, 1450 AM.
Anna.
Saving energy means saving money. The more you know about energy efficiency, the more opportunities you have to lower your energy usage. No matter your energy needs, NIPSCO's energy efficiency programs provide guidance and incentives to help you learn more and save more. Take the first step towards savings today by visiting nipsco.com/save.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is zero and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, we're back. Crosstalk. We talked about jiu-jitsu today, Anvil Training Center, Russia, Ukraine. I need something else, okay? I want to talk about one of my favorite stories in the Bible. There's a man named Bartimaeus. Right now we're going through the Gospel of John. If you didn't know this, our church, what we do is we go through books of the Bible, and we go through every single line. So we're in the Gospel of John. It's going to take us about a year, but I wanted to take a little bit of a break from John and go to Mark, which is a book we already covered. And, you know, it's been crazy. I never did that. Like, as a pastor, I would always preach on series and different things, different stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually encourage other pastors to preach like that. But when I tried preaching through an entire book of the Bible, I just felt like I learned so much. I grew so much as a person. I felt like as a pastor, there were certain scriptures that I don't know if I would have ever preached on unless I had to, which is kind of the case. So I want to encourage you, if you're ever reading through a book of the Bible, I know some people do the Bible in a year, which is really great. When you get to something that you don't understand or you don't fully grasp, take the time and understand it and look at it. There are thousands of good, reputable Bible scholars online and Bible sources online. You got to be careful. You don't want anything crazy, but we can figure out Scripture. We can see the original meaning and how it applies to us today if you just put in the time. But I want to tell this story. The disciples and Jesus were coming from Jericho, and there's this blind guy by the name of Bartimaeus. And all throughout the Old Testament, they said the Messiah, the Son of Man, would heal the blind, make the blind see, and make the lame walk again. So he's going to fill this. He's going to fill this prophecy on the road. So they're all walking. Jesus is very popular at this point. It's in Mark chapter 10. He's already done a ton of miracles. And there's this beggar. His name was Bartimaeus, and he was blind. He was the son of Timaeus, which is cool. Like, they have the actual names, so it's not just like made up names, it's historical documents. And this guy's sitting by the side of the road, or the side of the road, blind, got nothing in his life, no one to help him. And he hears that Jesus of Nazareth is walking by. And so he starts crying out to him, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Okay? So a couple things there. One, Jesus is a common name back there, but Jesus of Nazareth is a popular name at this point because people are, telling him all these stories. So the blind guy has not seen Jesus. The blind guy has not seen any miracles. But what has he done? He's heard. He's heard about Jesus. So what does that mean? That means people have been talking about Jesus. I mean, his popularity is spreading. His miracles are spreading. And as a Christian, look, I know we're supposed to live our life as examples, which is, it's hard to do. It's hard to live my life as a Christian example all the time. And I fail at it. But more importantly is we're supposed to be talking about Jesus. And like, we're supposed to talk about what he's done in our life, what he can do in your life. Like, if Jesus is like our savior, which is, a savior is more than a boss, a savior is more than a husband or a wife, and a savior is more than a best friend, a savior is more than a sports figure. But if we're constantly talking about Jesus and what he can do, the life he can bring, when people get to that time in their life where they're begging, where they're on the side of the road, where they have no way out, they're going to know who to cry out to. And so Bartimaeus is crying out, and he's crying out Son of David, which is a messianic term, an Old Testament term. And while he's doing that, it says in verse 48, many rebuked him, telling him to be quiet. So all these people following Jesus, maybe the disciples, I don't know, it doesn't say, but they're all following Jesus on the road, and he's screaming, crying out for mercy, and they're all like, shut up. They're like, stop it. You're being annoying. Don't bother him. Don't bother Jesus. He's too cool. He's too popular. He's a celebrity. Leave him alone. And so this is my favorite part. In verse 48, it says, many rebuked him, telling him to be quiet. And he cried out all the more. He kept crying out, Son of David, have mercy on me. So even though the crowd was like quiet, he just started crying out louder and louder. And verse 49, the most beautiful verse, and Jesus stopped. Because one blind beggar, he stopped. Even with all these people around, Jesus stopped. Can I tell you that he hears your cry? Man, I don't know what you're doing, what's going on in your life, good, bad, the ugly. When you cry out to Jesus, he hears your cry. Jesus stopped and said, call him. So he's telling the people, the very same people, and I love that. Jesus didn't walk over to him, which he could have. He's teaching these people who were telling him to shut up. He's teaching them, don't tell people to shut up. Bring them to me. Bring them to me. Man, that convicts me hard because there are people I disagree with. There are people who are loud, obnoxious, and I just want to tell them to be quiet. And Jesus is saying, no, bring them to me. Those family members that don't like you because you're a Christian, or they don't like your values, or they're pro this or anti that, bring them to me. Bring them to me. They're blind, and I can make them see. And so whoever they go to him, and I love this part. They say to him, "Get up," or "Take heart, get up. He is calling you." Take heart, get up. He is calling you. And throwing off the cloak, the man sprang up to Jesus, and Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man said, "Rabbi, let me recover my sight." And Jesus said to him, "Go your way. Your faith has made you well. Your faith has made you whole." And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way. That's a beautiful story. What could that blind beggar offer Jesus? Nothing. Just his cries and his faith. And Jesus didn't do anything. He didn't spit in his hands, rub mud on his eyes, although he does do that. All it took was this man's faith. crying out to the Messiah and his faith. And Jesus even said those words, "Your faith has made you well." But our responsibility as Christians is not to just rebuke people all the time, right? Especially people who don't know Jesus. Instead of rebuking people who don't know Jesus, bring them to him. Tell these people, hey, take heart, it's okay. Rise up, he's calling you. And for some reason, like, we feel like we're the moral police in the world at times, Christians. Look, if there's a person who doesn't know Jesus, I'm not going to tell them that they have, teach them about good morals. No, I'm not a moral teacher. Right? Now, with other Christians, yeah, we want to call each other out. Sometimes we need to rebuke one another. Sometimes we need correction, discipline. But when it comes to people who don't know Jesus, we need to bring them to him first. That's the most important thing. No one's gonna care about Christian values if they don't know Christ. My job isn't to morally police the world. It's to bring people to Christ, bring people to him. And I think sometimes as Christians, we rebuke things in this world and we stand up for justice and righteousness. And I get that. But when you're dealing with someone who doesn't know Jesus, that has to be the starting point. They're not going to care about morality, right or wrong. They're not going to care about politics or anything like that. Bring them to Jesus. Bring them to Jesus. And that's what Jesus said. Don't rebuke them. Bring him to me. And they did. And I love that part where Jesus said, well, what do you want me to do for you? Now, why did he ask that question? I mean, it sounds like, what if the blind guy was like, could I have some food? The reason why Jesus asked that question is because the blind man needed faith. He needed to display his faith. And the fact that he looked at this guy, he called him the Son of David, the Messiah, a messianic turn, and Jesus said, well, what do you want me to do for you? And the fact that he said, give me my sight, because he believed that Jesus could do that. He had faith that Jesus could give him back his sight. And so Jesus said it, your faith has made you whole, well, or whole. And you'll hear this phrase over and over again when Jesus heals people in the New Testament. Your faith has made you whole. Your faith has made you well. Your faith has healed you. And it's like, it's not that our faith heals us. It's our faith in Jesus that makes us whole, that saves us. It's not just faith in general. It's our faith in Jesus. And all these people put their faith in Jesus. There's a story that I read a couple weeks ago about this guy who was at Bethesda. And Jesus asked him this question, do you want to get well? Almost like the same question as, what do you want me to do for you? And when he asked the guy, do you want me to get well? The guy said, well, I can't get well. And he gave all these excuses. This blind guy, when Jesus asked, what do you want me to do? He said, with faith, I want to receive my sight. I want you to give me my sight. So even in moments of doubt, Jesus can still step in. Jesus can still heal and save. But it's not about being a good person. It's not about doing good things. It's about your faith in Jesus, the only person that gives life, the only person that can save us. Don't forget that. Whether you're a beggar on the side of the road or you're an invalid by the pool, your faith in Jesus is what saves. This is Crosstalk 97.3, 97.7, 1450 AM.